Hey everyone, what is up? Welcome back to another episode of Kurt on Cougs. Yeah, big game tonight as BYU men's basketball takes on Oklahoma State. And then in the meantime, currently right now, as I'm filming this, BYU women's basketball is playing against Kansas. So yeah, we're going to dive into both of those. First of all, BYU women's basketball. Sorry I didn't get on it earlier. Schoolwork and stuff, I guess, are my excuses. Not great excuses, but excuses nonetheless. So currently, last I checked, they are down 12 at Kansas. It's tough to play on the road. The Cougars are playing 2 road games this week against Kansas and Kansas State. So honestly, I feel like, though, if you can just go ahead and split those, go 1-for-1, you should be decent. After their win against Utah on Saturday, they moved up to be the last team in, so just barely on the right side of the bubble. Still, though, looking down the rest of the season, they got a lot of good matchups, like, for example, a game against Iowa State later on. And if they can go ahead, catch a few good wins, avoid any real bad losses, then I think this team will be solid to make the NCAA tournament, which would be amazing, just straight up awesome. After last year, where they didn't even make the NIT, being able to make it to the tournament, the big dance this year would be huge. Very excited to see how that goes. Excited to see how tonight's game goes as well. I feel like this BYU team has enough firepower. They can come back. They can beat Kansas. Let's see if they can do what the men didn't do last week. So that'll be interesting to see. Also, back to the men's team. They are playing at Oklahoma State tonight. It's always tough to play on the road in the Big 12. And this Oklahoma State team is much improved. This is a team that is a good win or two away from being on the bubble for the tournament. So definitely not an easy game at all. This is a team of very much extremes, I guess I would say. On defense, they're the team that wants to make the big plays, force the turnovers, all that. On offense, they like to do one of two things: either take it straight to the hoop or drain threes on you. So yeah, fun matchup. Big game. Cougars looking to bounce back. They've lost back-to-back games. They've started to slide a little bit. Currently being projected somewhere around like a 4 or a 5 seed. I feel like, honestly, this next 4-game stretch is going to be huge. So if the Cougars can go ahead and get out of this one, arguably toughest game of the stretch is the game at home on Saturday against Houston. But if the Cougars can even just go 3-1, even with that loss against Houston, I feel like they'll be in a decent spot to keep their seed and potentially move up later on. So for tonight's game, here are my deciding factors. First and foremost, I think it's going to be really important that on offense they get off to a fast start. I feel like this is something we've seen all season. They just do not hit shots in the first half, fall behind, have to make a huge effort late. You might be able to get away with that against Oklahoma State, but I definitely wouldn't risk it. So yeah, start strong, get off to a good start, and I feel like if they do that, they'll be in a great position going into the second half. Number 2, I think it's going to be really important to try to make Oklahoma State uncomfortable, try to make them take the shots they typically don't take. So what would that mean? For one thing, trying to force them out of the paint, don't let them get shots right at the rim, and also try to really lock down their outside shooters. Like, try to make this team make shots they haven't been making this season. If they are able to make those shots, wonderful, amazing, that's great for them. But honestly, I don't see it being very likely. So really just forcing them into uncomfortable shots, I feel like will be a huge factor if the Cougars are going to stymie this Cowboys offense. And then just overall in this one, like I talked about earlier, this is an Oklahoma State team that's really good at getting turnovers. So if the Cougars can go ahead, win the turnover battle, that would effectively neutralize one of Oklahoma State's best strengths and would lead to the Cougars coming away with a big victory. And my bold prediction for tonight is I am predicting, let's see, I'm going to predict that Cape Ikeda will have a double-double. He's been a little quiet these last few games. I think he's going to come up big tonight, though, get a double-double. And I think ultimately the Cougars end up winning this one, final score 85-80. I can see this one being tough all throughout, but I feel like the Cougars are going to win this thing and get some momentum going into Saturday's big game against the Cougs in red. That's all I got so far. I'll be back later for a post-game review. Let's go Cougs.